Hi guys, Johnny Lucky 7 from Black Angels Evolution, hanging out in Entropia Universe today, and I want to talk to you a little bit about mentoring in the Entropia Universe. This is not an easy profession. I've been mentoring a long time in this game, and I want to share with you the tactics that I use that will make you successful. First thing you need to do is find disciples, and the best place to do that is where I am now at the new arrival zone in Port Atlantis. There are a couple other places I like to look. Twin Peaks is okay. Also, any low-level teleport location is just fine. Knees is okay, but it's really the last place I would look. You're going to have to literally hunt these people down, and a good way to do that is just by right-clicking on avatars and seeing if the option to add them as a disciple is not grayed out. Then just simply open a private chat with the avatar, say hi, and ask why they don't have a mentor. Give a little background information on yourself, explain what they'll receive for graduating, see if they're interested. Now, I look for people that have a set of pixie armor or at least a weapon. It's really rare that I'm going to mentor a non-depositor in this game. Got a lot of reasons for this decision. First one is I pay for this game. It's my money that allows sweaters to exist. And sweaters can take a really long time to graduate, sometimes up to a year. And unfortunately, I only graduate at a rate of about 10 to 1. Now, there are exceptions to this. If a sweater is motivated enough to sweat enough ped to become a trader as a profession, I think it's worth your time. Also, if you're just starting out as a mentor and you have a lot of free mentor slots open, of which there are only 20, then go ahead and practice your mentoring on a sweater. Not a problem. With only 20 slots open, as you can see, I've got 19 full at all times, and a couple of them are taken up by people who are at 100% that got there before CryEngine came out. So that's a problem for me. One of the reasons I don't take sweaters. Now, who you choose to mentor is 100% your decision. If you want to be a tour guide for everybody that enters the game, be my guest. But I'm spending my leisure time mentoring people, and I want to do it in the way that has the highest chance of success. And I really think that you'll be more likely to continue as a mentor if you're successful at it. Many people try to mentor, they have a bad experience, and they give up the profession. Because, as a mentor, you're going to have to deal with alt accounts, liars, cheats, scammers, in addition to the legitimate players. But here are some of the tactics that I use to keep myself from being scammed. State up front that you offer the best info in the game, but you don't give out ped. Now, most players don't want a handout. They get a sense of accomplishment from doing it on their own. And too many times I have read posts about hit and run disciples that take the starting equipment you give them, log off in your face. Now, one of the places that you can do this is on the mentor register. As you can see, I'm top 5 as far as graduates currently in the game. But you have the ability down here to put in a little bit about yourself. And this is where you definitely want to say, I do not give out ped. This is going to scare away most of the scammers who know that messing with you is going to be a waste of their time. Now, here's some good starting questions to ask a new disciple. Basically, just to get a feel for them. Where are you from in real life? This is important for the time zone. How long have you been playing? If you looked at the forum, if you looked at the auction, what type of equipment you currently have, what's your highest professional level, and basically ask them if they have any starting questions for you. This gives you a good idea of what level the player's at, how long they've been around, and what they need to do next. Now, how a disciple answers these questions gives you the ability to judge if they are truly a new player or just another scammer. This is incredibly important. You must use common sense here. Make sure their answers match their experience. If they claim they're brand new, but understand how tearing guns work, or another advanced system, that should be a red flag for you. Be wary of players that don't have any questions for you. Another useful tactic here is to think of the questions that you had as the starting player and see if they match up. I also think that you should really not add a new disciple to your society until you are, as sure as you can be, that they're a starting new player. Many societies that just add anyone who applies have a lot of scammerins in them. Alright, you got your new disciple. Seems legit. What's some of the first things you want to do with them? Well, the first thing you really need to do is make sure that they've talked to this Port Atlantis official. He gives a couple of quests. They're very quick, just a lot of reading. But it's basically the guide for the game at this point. This is important, going to save you a lot of typing to make sure that they've talked to this guy. You also want to give out some information about getting some free vehicles in the game. There's the Thing quest on Rocktropia, and this is a cheap way to get a helicopter, a Jeep, and some new clothes. This is really beneficial as you really have to have transportation in this game. While buying transportation from the auction is also an option, I think doing the Thing quest is a lot more fun. It exposes a new player to a little bit of space travel, shows them a new planet, and it's just a cheap, fun thing to do. I think you can complete the whole quest for about 5 ped, and it takes about an hour and a half. There's also some important adventure quests that they should do if they'd like to be a hunter. A grave errand gives you 300 first aid points. For discreet applicants only gives you 450 evade. And these are really important for a new player to do ASAP. Also, there is Into the Volcano, which is a pretty tough one, but that gives about 350, I believe it's combat reflexes. There's also the New Island mission token quests, and I'm going to run over to the New Island just to show you those. A couple tricks with those which are really nice. Of course, there's 3 types of quests in this game. There are hunting quests, mining quests, and adventure quests. Now, hunting and mining, you're going to have to spend some ped to complete them. But the adventure quests basically are just going to waypoints, visiting people, running around the game. So we're going to run down here to Naval Station Triton. As a new player, when you show up here and do the first quest, you get 1 little token, and they're worth a ped or just right under a ped. What is really great is that you can actually do the mining quests on these 2 new islands with a rookie finder and rookie bombs. It is really difficult to lose ped using those little rookie finders to complete this mission. So here's Naval Station Triton. This is a good place to maybe do a TP run for your new disciple, as well as taking them to knees, and then talk to one of these NPCs that's going to spawn here in just a moment and start them on a mission token quest. Now, there's some information that you've really got to relate to your disciples immediately. There's about 10 things. What good starting equipment is for whatever their profession is. The types of damage inflicted by mobs and their aggro range. How amps and armor plates work. How to find fruits, stones, and of course how to sweat. You also want to teach them about team hunting rules, how to look at them, and which ones are acceptable. This is really important. One of the latest scams in this game is people are running around adding noobs to teams, kind of gaining their trust the first couple of times, and then when they find somebody hunting something big, they change, they kill the team and they change it to casual loot, and then they try to add themselves back in. So it's important, even for a new player, to know how to look at the team hunting rules. You also want to convey to them the PvP rules here, toxic shots, things like that, and PvP in space. Tier systems and enhancers. What loot to TT and what loot to keep and sell on auction. The NPCs also for the Iron Mission quests are very important, as almost any mob that you shoot on Calypso has an associated hunting quest with it. Information and resource sites. The Planet Calypso forum and Entropedia.info are two really good examples. This is going to give them a lot of resources, and they're going to be able to look things up maybe when you're not online. And most importantly, the one thing that you really want to convey to everyone is not to trust anybody in this game. I don't care. Trades are PvP. Anyone that really wants to borrow something from you will give you something of equal value as a deposit. If you're going to lend out your ghost armor with 5B plates, hey Rand, don't expect to see it back. If you're really going to do that, it's just very foolish. I think that mentors have a couple of responsibilities. The first one is really to be online to answer your new disciples' question as promptly as possible. If you don't play much, you're not going to be much help to a new disciple. You also need to rescue them from outposts occasionally. It's really easy on Calypso to get caught at an outpost that does not have a teleport location and be completely surrounded by mobs like Aatrox or Hoglows that they are just simply not going to be able to fight through. Also, make sure your disciples are not afraid to ask you questions. Tell them it doesn't bother you. It's your job to answer their questions. A couple things that you really want to avoid doing as far as being a mentor as well. Taking a disciple that does not speak your language. French player may understand some English. It's really better for them to have a French-speaking mentor. You could always try to direct them toward somebody that speaks their language if you know them. Taking a disciple that plays outside your time zone, that's really, again, you're not going to be online to help them. Or sending them to the forum the first thing. This is a weird thing that some mentors do. Go read the forum for a couple days and come back. Who the hell wants to do that? Suggest they go look at the forum in their free time once they played the game a little bit. Now, all this being said, this is a ton of info. Don't try and shove this all down a new player's throat at once. Answer their initial questions. Give them something to do. And let them lead the questioning a little bit. Now, mentoring is not an exact science. It's different for everybody. But I really hope that some of these tips encourage people to mentor. Mentoring a new person takes some time at first. But once you get them rolling, you're really there to just answer specific questions. And you can do this while you're crafting, while you're trading, or just hanging out and looking for new disciples. Once you have, a nice little group of disciples, taking them on some TP runs in a helicopter is always a good thing. Now, people ask me a lot if mentoring is really worth it. You're not always going to get an expensive gift, but you will make a lot of friends. And I tell you what, when you mentor people well, they're really grateful and they show it. They're loyal to you and you're going to be their mentor for life in this game. I really think this game's not very team oriented. Most people just play it by myself. I enjoy playing with a good group, and this is one of the things that's helped me form one. Well guys, I hope you do some mentoring in Entropia Universe. Hope it works out for you. Good luck and hoff it up.